Hey there, Grace Church, Pastor Levi. As you may be able to tell, I am actually in my garage. It is the quietest place that I could find in my house to be able to do this, so excuse a little bit of the mess that you see around me, but it's the best that I could do today. I have a devotion for you, and the text comes from Mark chapter 12, verses 13 through 17, and basically, there were a bunch of religious leaders that were trying to trip Jesus up, trap him in his own words, get him arrested. They weren't happy with what he was doing, and this is part of that. It says, later they sent some of the Pharisees and Herodians to Jesus to catch him in his words. They came to him and said, "Teacher, we know you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by men because you pay no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth." Oh man, are they buttering him up or what? "Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay or shouldn't we?" But Jesus knew their hypocrisy. "Why are you trying to trap me?" he asked. "Bring me a denarius and let me look at it." They brought him a coin, and he asked them, "Whose portrait is on it, and whose inscription?" "Caesar's," they replied. Then Jesus said to them, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." And they were amazed at him. There's a lot more going on in this passage than I can put in a short devotional that you want to watch. There's 2 or 3 sermons worth of stuff here. But they were trying to trip him up on his words so that he would get in trouble, that he could be arrested. They were on his case. And so as I was reading that, I focused in on those last few words. It said, "And give to God what is God's." And I was doing some reading in a book, and I came across this. N.T. Wright says, "The command to give God what belongs to God opens all kinds of further questions. Did he also mean that because humans bear God's image, all humans owe themselves, their very lives, to God, and should give those lives back as one might give a coin back to Caesar? Did he mean standing there in the temple courtyards that the sacrificial system, which was supposed to be the way of giving God his due, needed to be superseded by a more complete worship?" I thought, oh my goodness, this was written thousands of years ago, but how many of us have bought into a system of giving God his due that looks a lot like just going to church on Sunday morning, or going to life group, or dropping our kids off for some religious instruction? It is so much more than that. And so I'm wondering if our system needs to be superseded by a more complete worship. And what I'm getting at is this. We're finally starting to reach some of our breaking point with the coronavirus. I see it on social media. Everybody's kind of put on a strong face for a while, and now it's starting to hit home. Like it's affecting our kids, it's affecting us. We're not having good days, we're having bad days, and we probably have been all along. We're just now getting to the point where we can admit that publicly. And so one of the things that may be helpful is to remember that even the small parts of our day can be given as an act of worship. And so in Romans 12, my mind went here. It says, "So here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for him." Here's the deal. So many of us have been caught up in this performance culture that we live in. Everything has to look right, and we have to nail it all the time. Birthday parties and meals and all the stuff, but we can't do it anymore, can we? We're not proficient at working 40 hours and being teachers and being chefs and being all of that. So take these moments that feel like anything except an act of worship and make them an act of worship. And so as you put that Pop-Tart in the toaster in the morning, because that's the very best that you have to offer your kids, make it an act of worship and give thanks to God that you have that Pop-Tart to put in the toaster. As you're dropping that brick of ramen into the boiling water for your kids because you just don't have it in you to make a 3-course lunch, drop it in there as an act of worship. When your kids are on your last nerve and you lashed out, turn that moment into an act of worship. Thank God that you have the kids to be frustrated with. I've looked at my own wife and said that after an argument or a fight and said, I know that's not fun, but I would rather have you in my life to argue with than not have you at all. And so sometimes we have to find the silver lining, the act of worship, just in the ordinary moments of our day, our waking, our sleeping, our eating, our walking around day. Find the moments that we can consecrate as an act of worship, even if they feel like the last things that are worship. Because when we begin to live our life this way, I think we are getting closer and closer and closer to the heart of what true worship is. I love you guys. Can't wait till we can meet again. Happy Holy Week.